So, what is new about the Lyolan, and what are some major changes that have happened while you have been here?
Well, fun question. Um, I always joke with my advisor over the summer because we were planning all the big changes for this semester. And every time he would bring up something else that we needed to do, I'd just be like, "Oh, we'll just change that. I might as well changing everything else." And that's a joke, but it's also kind of true. This staff has been transformative in a big way. We completely redesigned the print edition and our online, complete with a whole new logo. It gave us a more fresh and modern look. It's actually funny because I was looking at some of the old issues the other day, and it looked like Chinese to me almost. I was just like, I don't understand when we were doing this. And we've only had it for, you can look up there like 11 issues now. But it still feels like this is what we've been doing always. So the redesign was the first big thing. The print one was mostly finished this summer. We added some tweaks and wanted to launch in October. The online one was more of a developmental process. And then we also launched online every day at the beginning of this year. We decided to launch online at the end of August. Full time, like we'd been online like just to put our content up and to occasionally do like an online only story. But we really wanted to put our focus on the digital and to be publishing there first and foremost. And publishing every day as well. We have a new video series that we put together called Your Loyola Minute, using that multimedia. And yeah, so we just sort of added a bunch of new elements online that would make us more viable online. We're in a really unique position being the only organization that really covers LMU, and that sometimes makes college newspapers complacent because if they're the only ones who have to, they don't have to really do too much. Students will come to them. But what we were realizing was that pickup rates were down, but social media engagement was up. And so we thought if we can both make the print edition something really valuable and interesting by redesigning it and launching ourselves primarily online so that people can still get their first news there, it'd be really serving our audience better. And luckily, we've had a lot of great response to that, both in words and in just seeing our numbers pick up both online and in print.
Yeah, so I was going to ask that question. You have had more people more engaged with the Lyolan since the new update to it?
Oh, are you just asking how? Well, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. We have seen, I believe, when we redesigned and we just shifted our distribution points a little bit, like
Mm-hmm.
where we were actually putting out the paper. We were in the. We have gone up a good steady 20% and stayed there
Wow.
as far as pickup is concerned, which it was sort of like in a giant downfall basically since the beginning of not this fall, but last fall. It had basically just sort of steadily been moving downward, and we've seen a serious pickup, and it's staying there. So that's really positive. And then with our online numbers, they've been huge this year. I think triple what they were last year on a week by week basis. And
And why do you think that? Why do you think the online numbers have increased?
well, we're publishing more content,
Right.
so that's a huge first step. I think we're also learning what works online. I almost call it the BuzzFeedization of the Loyola in a way. We publish like 20 things I glad I did as a 20-year-old, stuff like that. That may not be the most like hard hitting journalistic stuff, but it's fun and people enjoy it. We're looking for stories like that. We're actually working on a story right now about two students who just got engaged, and they're both student athletes. And there's not anything horribly hard hitting about that or breaking about that, but with a community like this, that sort of stuff plays so well. And when people read it in the print and read it online, because oftentimes we get sort of both engagements, we realize we have a slightly different audience of alums and stuff like that online than we do in the print edition, which is mostly students, people who actually live on campus. Um, but that allows for us to engage in two different places, and we still manage to do the hard hitting stuff. We just know how to balance it.
Cool. Were you um, really fast? What were your opinions of updating the Lyolan before it was actually like changed? Like you said, you read it before. Like, did you want to? Did you were you advocating a change in it, or were you like, no?
I knew we had to go digital first. And that was, and it used to be called web first, but I really reject that particular term because web doesn't really cover it. You have to have the mobile presence, you have to have the social media presence, you have to have the video. It goes so much beyond just the website. So I knew we had to go digital first when I applied for the job, and that was actually this past November. This is my 1-year anniversary of applying for the job. Not today specifically, but like this month. And that was one of the big pillars I stood on when I was applying for the job. But I did not, funny to think about this, but I really did not even think about a redesign as being necessary. I wanted to change, we have our old masthead lying around anywhere. I wanted to change, no, that's really old. Where is it? Hold on. Sorry, I know this looks terrible on camera.
No, it's funny.
I wanted to change our masthead really badly. Like, if we did nothing else, I just wanted to change this. Because, first of all, this was when we decided putting basketballs in the O's when we had a basketball game was a good idea. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a good idea. But it was really blocky and really it didn't really catch the eye. So we decided to go with something a lot cleaner in our new one, and we centered it and we made it more sort of traditionally news looking, and added a lot of white space up here. That was the big thing I knew we had to change. I knew I wanted to change some of the colors and stuff like that, but as far as a full redesign overhaul, I had no clue. But somebody made a very good point that if we were going to launch online, we needed something that would draw people's attention, and that seemed like it would really draw people's attention.
One more question.
Yeah.
So, how do you use Facebook and Twitter? Does the
Me personally or the Loyolan?
The Loyolan.
Oh yeah. So we sort of have different strategies. We post all of our stories, but with Twitter we just send out links and we're actually shifting our strategy a little bit. We usually send them out earlier in the day, but what we're realizing is that people actually engage more if they're sent out in the afternoon, because you come home from classes and you sort of, are procrastinating from doing all your work and you decide to just go on Facebook and see what's going on. So with Facebook and Twitter, we're posting later now. With Facebook, we're really focusing on image-based posts because we find that that's where the most engagement comes in. Excuse me. We find that people, if they can see the subjects of the story, are infinitely more interested in engaging, especially in a small community like this, where it's the, hey, I know that guy effect, of like, if I see a picture of someone I know, I'm more inclined to read that article. We also publish a lot of photo galleries to our Facebook, and that always throws our engagement through the roof. Our College Fest photos last year, I actually think we had to remove the number of we had to lower the number of admins on our Facebook page because it was freezing, because we were getting so many hits, which was great. We loved that. It's not the most hard-hitting journalistic stuff, but it is photojournalism in a way. And, to see one big photo on the front page, yeah, that's cool, but to have 200 photos that you can tag yourself in and really enjoy, that to me is where we can be most effective on Facebook, because those people are liking us and those people are going to come back and see our actual posts. And we've had great growth on both of our Facebook and Twitter as far as our followers and likes. I always laugh because ASLMU did the 2012 likes for that year's College Fest, and we thought about doing a similar gimmick to try and get our likes up, but we opted not to do that, essentially because it drove everyone insane when they had to do the 2012 likes a couple years ago. And since then, organically, I think at the end, in last May, or no, it was a little bit before that, sorry. But we had just passed 1,000 likes, and now we're at, I think, over 1,700. And that's all been organically off of making people more aware of our brand. So that to me is more satisfying,
right,
of actually building it up than trying to game it into being a higher number.
Cool. Thanks, Kevin.
Of course.
I'll see you later.